finally. I had to do it that day. I couldn't just stand by and let it die. I stole the detective's ID and dressed like him. I planned to take the evidence. I was expecting Officer Meekins. I knocked him out. I managed to escape. I knew which areas wouldn't be caught on the camera. There wasn't any murder in the evidence room at 5:15. So, yeah, we found the truth now. Large quantities of blood traces were found on the evidence room. If no one was murdered, then how could that be? Officer Meekins managed to cut his own hand. My guess is he's the donor. Looks like too much blood for that. Have you watched Kill la Kill? I mean, like, those people lose blood like 50 parsecs a second, man. They lose blood like 50 milliliters a second in that show. When you say it, you mean it. You mean, I can't speak. Do you even have to ask, partner? Oh yes. But to everyone in the courtroom who's sitting here today, who are watching this for some reason, and there's probably a kid with his mom down there asking some weird questions, that a kid should not be here in a murder trial. I'm saying this now, like you're just gonna mess up the kid. But what did you hope to accomplish by sneaking in the evidence room? When a case is closed, only the detective who was in charge of it can look through the evidence. I wanted to have a look at it myself one more time, no matter what it cost. I don't care what anyone says, partner. That case is mine. Okay, he wasn't in charge. If we look into the court record, if we look into the court record and we look into the SL9 files, which I forgot to do last episode, the person, Joe Jock, serial killer, serial murder, sentenced death. Victims: Edward Jones, Jason Knight, Neil Marshall, Rosie Marsh. Neil Marshall. I wonder how. I just wonder. Like, what does that mean? Head prosecutor Miles Edgeworth, witnesses Lance Sky, Emma Sky, Damon Grant, Lance Sky. Bruce Goodman was the head investigator, and Jake Marshall and Angel Starr, they were the investigators. So Bruce Goodman was in charge of the SL9 case, but he feels like it's his trial, and we'll find out why. If I didn't make it look like Goodman was carrying out the evidence transferal, I'd be arrested for stealing evidence, which wouldn't get me anywhere. So you did it to fool a security camera. And the detective's ID card, I stole that in the morning of the incident. So that, why did he just ask Goodman, hey man, you know exactly what this, I don't know why he didn't just ask Goodman, like go up to him and say, hey, like, I'm not completely fine with, how this case went down. Yeah, the bad guy got caught, but I feel that there's something cheated. I feel like I've been cheated out of something. So can you get the evidence for me and check it out? Because, I mean, they were colleagues, so it could be a possibility that they could talk to each other about stuff like that, especially about an old case that is so vital to their careers that it almost ended Angel Starr's career, and it demoted him all the way to patrolman. So something like that, you're not gonna forget, and you're not gonna forget the people who was part of it. So even if they weren't close, I'd still ask the guy. I mean, or maybe he was too busy getting murdered in the parking lot, which is something we haven't dealt with yet. We've been going kind of like around the subject, and this is why Edgeworth is so like calm about everything, because it's like there's nothing to prove that Lana isn't the person that killed Goodman. So we're kind of still in trouble. So that's why what's his name? Edgeworth is so calm about everything right now, and is I. Sorry about that. I turned off my microphone there. So that's why Edgeworth is helping us out a bit. He told us like go back to the basics. So we're going back to the basics, and I completely forgot exactly what we're doing here. Those who go into the desert unprepared don't live long, partner. I didn't think it would make a difference though. The security tape is erased every 6 hours. If all had gone as planned, no footage would have been left. Well, however, you bloodied co in your struggle with Officer Meekins. If someone was in the security room when I came out, the jig would be up. I opened my locker, stashing in there. What was Officer Meekins doing during that time? What else? He was sleeping like a baby. So what you're saying is on that day there wasn't a murder in evidence room at 5:15. Boom. But the blood found at the scene. Oh, so Phoenix now is trying to say Bruce Goodman was killed there instead of being killed where Lana was. But we know that it doesn't. This doesn't get Lana off the hook, basically. So he stole evidence. So he stole the evidence from the locker. Actually, no, I didn't. Why not? When I opened it, the locker, the evidence was already gone. What, Mr. Edgeworth? Where's that evidence? It's still missing, Your Honor. The head of the Goodman's locker was already empty. Someone else must have someone else stole the evidence. Officer Marshall, may I ask the one thing? Fire away, partner. It's free country. Just remember, it's also free to decide whether or not to answer. Why do you do this? Stealing a detective's ID, injuring a police officer. This is no small offense. Moreover, you're an officer yourself. This will have serious consequences. It can't just be forgiven with a simple cut in salary. Not that sorry, because I have a valid solution. Like I said, this isn't your case. This one's mine. I'll do anything it takes to get an answer I'm satisfied with. The witness has an unusual amount of zeal. Let's hear more. Let's hear that. I just can't. You know why? But that case was solved. Was solved 2 years ago, wasn't it? That's the reason the evidence was stored in the evidence room. Joe Dark was convicted for those crimes. One thing I can say for sure, he deserved his sentence. I remember the Joe Dark case. It involved serial murders, didn't it? I don't intend to complain about how it turned out. But there's something that still bothers me. Something went down at that trial. Something no one will talk about. What happened? I don't know. That's what I'm trying to find out. Why is he so concerned with that incident? Maybe I should present him with something that what I think is the real reason. I had a feeling I would wind here sooner or later. Everyone involved here is related. Yeah, even Edgeworth, even the guy standing right in front of you on the opposite desk has something to do with this case. Everyone who has something to do with this case, except Officer Meekins probably, and except maybe everybody, except Officer Meekins, everybody who was part of that case is part of this case. So there's a clear what is it? I can't find the word for it. There's a clear link between those. Now, what we need to present here is the S09 incident files. Remember earlier when we went through the victims list? If we look at the victims, we say Edward Jones, Jason Knight, Edris Kirby, Rachel Moss, Jeb Bates, and Neil Marshall. Neil Marshall. Neil Marshall. What the hell was that? I don't even know. Neil Marshall and Jake Marshall are related to each other. So this must be the reason why it exists. Objection! Officer Marshall, I think I understand. I think I know why you care so much about SL9 incident. Sounds like you've been sipping too much cactus juice, partner. I have the SL9 incident file here. The name the Marshall is mentioned here in a list of murder victims. Neil Marshall, are you related to this man? Neil Marshall? Yeah, I'm sure you've heard that name. 2 years ago, he received the same lousy prosecutor award you got. He was a prosecutor? Wow. Now I remember. Prosecutor Neil Marshall. He handled the SL9 case before I did. That's right. He was killed. And the case fell into your hands. What's his relation to you? He was my brother. He was investigating the murders with Damon Grant, chief detectives at the time. Gant. I keep saying Grant. It's so hard, man. It's so hard. What kind of name is Gant? We were desperate to prosecute the killer. Man, this guy looks like a menacing guy, man. Joe Dark. My brother fought Dark and was killed. That was the first time Dark left behind any evidence. That was all we needed. Okay, so a guy who has killed tons of people before suddenly kills another person, but leaves enough evidence for them to put him away. That's kind of weird. That's kind of sloppy for a murderer, don't you think? No one could have beaten him in the fight. That's your reason for your insane reactions? There's more to my brother's death than what the records say. No matter how much you try to hide it, you can't fool me. For him to go through all of that, and in the slight hope that there's something wrong with the case, he must have a lot of trust in his brother, because he says, my brother could never lose in a fight, so therefore how did he get killed by Joe Dark? Something about that like makes me believe him, because he went through all of that, all of the dressing up as Goodman, stealing his ID, going into the evidence locker with his ID, knocking out Meekins, getting Meekins' hand cut, everything, like going through all of that, and this will surely ruin his reputation and ruin his job and ruin his career as any kind of police enforcer. So, I kind of believe him. But yes, see what I mean? All this, now that we found out exactly what happened in the evidence room, it still doesn't help us prove that Lana wasn't the killer. See? So that's what Edworth is explaining. But wait, a verdict wasn't reached in yesterday's trial. Which is why we examined the police in the incident at the police department today. But there's only one reason the defendant was not convicted yesterday. There was yet remained the mystery of the simultaneous murder at the police department. It seems to me this boy's got the draw on you, partner. See what I mean? See what I mean? All the mysteries at the police department have been uncovered. No contradictions. remain. The the murder took place at the prosecutor's office. The only suspect is Lon Sky. There were no errors in the testimony of the witness, Angel Star. If you have a response, make it one word or less. That's not a word. That's onomatopoeia. Wait, Emma's next to us, but she wasn't here earlier. What? That's weird. Well done, Mr. Wright. Thanks to you, I don't... That's weird. Why is suddenly Emma right next to us? No doubt, I proved today is true. The apparent murder on the school was really a fake. I didn't realize that would end up proving Lana guilty. See what I mean? Verdict time. Oh hell no! Yeah, I think that was a glitch. Emma appeared next to us even though she wasn't there. Like, that's kind of stupid. Emma's suddenly here. The defense has an objection. A scientific objection. Right? What do you mean, right? Mr. Wright, are you this girl's guardian? You're on her. I'm not sure I'm her guardian, but I'm not sure if you should let 14-year-olds on the stand. Please help me out, Mr. Edward, please. I don't want to leave any loose ends. You want a minute? I'll give you 3. Alright, I was kind of in shock. I mean, finding out that the SL9 incident refers to Joe Dark killings. Now that she mentions it, then both Sky sisters were in the file. But that's when I figured it out. I mean, Officer Marshall was trying to do that day. So I knew his fingerprint had nothing to do with the crime. That left only one thing, the other handprint. You mean the traces of blood found on Detective Gumshoe's locker? No more fingerprints were found on it, right? No, but I figured if I examined it scientifically, I'd be sure to find a clue. So I ran over there and looked at it again. So what did you find something? No. Sorry, I guess I'm not much of a scientific investigator after all. At least you tried your best. Is that it? Please don't be mad, I'm just a high school student. For all the hell... Oh, Larry Butts did more than you, Emma. Come on. You can't be upstaged by Butts. Larry Butts did more to help us in the last case than you did. What is up with surprising witnesses, man? If anyone could say that, it's you. The whole point of a surprise witness is that you're supposed to help me. You don't tell me jack shit. You come here and you don't tell me jack shit. What the hell? Larry Butts was better than this. Come on, Emma. You are such a disappointment. You know that? I don't mean that. I should try the best, I guess. But still. So that was Thingy's locker. Mr. Wright, I'm sorry. I can't be of more use. If you can't find anything wrong with this blood mark, Lana will be... Wait. I want to check something. What is wrong with that blood mark? That's what I'm kind of looking for. Where is it? So that's where the blood was found. But I want to check. Like, is it? No, I don't think we have it. Oh, we don't have it. Okay, that's fine. Okay, I need to concentrate. What could be wrong with the handprint of Detective Gumshoe's locker? Could that be something I'm missing? I object! The handprint left at the crime scene. The only thing that seems to clear is your grasping, Mr. Wright. You've been staring pretty intensely at these raw plans. Tell me, is there a problem with them? Yes, this is strange. Take a look at these floor plans. Something's missing. Missing? Yes, something that, when drawn, will completely change the meaning of the blood mark. Of course. Of course. I realized. I know exactly what's missing from the full plans. It's the thing that nobody would have expected this to come up in any kind of way. But somehow, some way, it has significance. It's this piece of crap. The Blue Badger. The Blue Badger, mascot of the police force, defender of truth, guardian of the proof. Well, explain yourself, Mr. Wright. Please look at the floor plans of the scene of the crime. Blue Badger is not here. So watch what happens when we put him in. He's in front of the... Gotcha. Yep. So long as the Blue Badger was standing there, it would be impossible to place a handprint on that spot. Yeah, you would have to move the thing, and then you would have to place the handprint. Nobody does that. If you have blood in your hand, you go wash it off. If you kill someone, you run away. You don't bloody move a fucking Blue Badger and then put your hand there. What are you saying? Blood traces were undeniably found on that locker. Don't look at me. I didn't put it there. Mr. Wright, think about... Oh, she's next to us again. That's nice. On that afternoon, Officer Meekins was the one who brought the Blue Badger to the evidence room, right? After they put it down, it would be impossible to leave a handprint on that locker. So that must mean this blood mark was left there before the Blue Badger was brought in. Just one moment. I will not allow such far-fetched balderdash in my courtroom. It may sound far-fetched, Your Honor, but it's the only possible explanation. On February 21st, in the police department's evidence room, blood was spilled not once but twice. But how? One time was captured on tape, taken by the security camera. Officer Meekins cut his hand, from which is a trivial amount of blood fell. The problem is, the other time, someone bled prior to the struggle shown on this tape. It had to have been Detective Goodman when he was really murdered. That's ridiculous. I refute you. I love this music. I just do. However, that does not explain the blood mark found on the locker. So then, assuming this murder you purport really happened, when did it take place? I demand you show evidence that I have proved it occurred. When did it take place? Prior to blah blah blah, the blood mark on the locker proves this. Well then, tell us, when the first incident happened, proof must be presented. Proof when the first thing was made. There's only one piece that can prove that. This one stumped me for a while, and I wasn't really sure. But it's actually, yes, if you have a look, there's one ID card that we don't know yet, and that is 777777 at 4:20 p.m. As you can see, Meekins came in, and that's when he put in the Blue Badger, and then he left. And then Bruce Goodman came in, and then Meekins saw him go in, so he went after him. That's when all that crap happened. Well, Goodman wasn't Goodman, he was Marshall, so blah blah blah. That happened. But we still have one ID card that doesn't make sense. Miles Edgeworth, he went in for whatever reason, I forget. But we still have one ID card that we don't know who it belongs to. And that's the guy who has 777777 in his ID card. So that is what we must present. The perpetrator would have had to have entered the room. In order to do so, an ID card is required. An ID card? Oh, the ID card record. Officer Meekins brought the Blue Badger panel into the evidence room at, let's see here, 4:50. If the crime took place before that, okay, they're explaining exactly why I just explained it. Miles Edgeworth, just what have you done? I never figured you had the nerve, boy. Put off the act, witness. It doesn't take a lot of thought to figure out it couldn't have been me. I ain't getting at it. I'm afraid I don't understand either. It's clearly from the luminal test that blood was there. However, when the second crime took place, both Officer Meekins and Officer Marshall failed to notice blood. That means the blood from the first crime was wiped away by the real murderer. I would have had just 10 minutes to murder the victim, carry the body away, and clean up the blood. Unfortunately, that's physically. Well, fortunately for Edgeworth, yeah, that is impossible for him to do that. The crime must have taken place before Edgeworth entered the evidence room. Just look at the chart again. There's only one other ID card number remaining, 77777. But wait, that doesn't make sense. How could Officer Goodman have entered the evidence room? Since there's no record of his card being used beforehand, he must have entered along with the real murderer. That's the only plausible explanation. He went in with sevens. I'm gonna call you 7. He went in with 7. He went in with Mr. 7. 77777777777. Yeah, I think that's 1, 2. Yeah. It doesn't matter. I'm just gonna call him 7. Explain yourself, son. Mr. 7. The ID card number 7 belongs to someone with a rank of captain or higher. Someone who is a so-called executive officer. We don't have the authority to inquire into such a person's identity. This is murder! It doesn't matter who it is, just tell us who it is. There is one situation in which we can be granted such authority. If an official charge filed against an executive is accepted. An official charge? You're all alike, with your cover-ups and your forgeries. Just that's how the prosecutor's office operates. I take pride in my work, Officer Marshall. I would appreciate it if you would keep your slander to yourself. Ooh, burn. Let me ask you a question. No, not you, to her, the defendant sitting over there. Your own little executive. Lana? Don't be stupid. She's being charged with murder. Of course, we've looked up her ID number. It's not 7777777. Don't play me a fool, partner. That's not why I want to ask. All I want to know is one thing about that incident, the SL9 incident. Answer me this, Chief Prosecutor. In that trial 2 years ago, did you really only use legitimate evidence? That's a legit question. Do you need the witness to repeat his question, Chief Prosecutor? I heard him fine, Mr. Edgeworth. 2 years ago, I was in charge of the prosecution for that trial. At the time, we felt the powerlessness of the law. At least I did. Lana? I became a prosecutor in order to suppress crime with the law. But before I realized it, we were the ones being suppressed by the law. Defendant, just what are you saying? I'll ask you again, Chief Prosecutor. During the trial 2 years ago, did you really present all the evidence in court? Can you look me in the and investigator in the crime in the eye and say that you did. But Chief Prosecutor, you didn't. I don't have to, Officer Marshall. Why didn't you answer him? Drastic crimes require drastic measures. That's just the way it is. We did what we had to in order for him to get the verdict he deserved. So you did! Even if it involved forging evidence. So you did forge evidence. And what is up with all these fucking transitions? See? That's what I'm talking about. No. No! Order! Lana's remarks caused such a stir. The chaos in the courtroom could not be quelled. The conclusion of their trial would have to wait until the following day. To be continued. Wow. I saw why Edgeworth was pissed, because now it makes him look even worse than he already was. I mean, he didn't need help from Lana to show everyone in the audience and everyone there that prosecutors, they do whatever they can. They forge evidence just to get a guilty verdict. Well done, Lana. You just made it 10 times harder. We're trying to help you. You're not helping us. God's sake, this woman is so hard to deal with. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed. Leave a like if you did and subscribe for more. And I'll see you guys later for some more Phoenix Wright, Ace Attorney. Peace.